Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today I have an opportunity to go drive the 2025 Lucid Air. This is a brand new premium luxury EV. From what I've heard, the build quality is incredible. Car and Driver and Edmunds and all the other news outlets have given this car raving reviews. So I want to see what this car is about. We're going to go take it on a test drive and we're going to see if it lives up to the hype. So stay tuned for this wonderful installment of the 2025 Lucid Air. As a first impression, the car colors are a little bit bland and the options aren't plentiful, say like that of a Porsche where you cannot paint a sample. So you're limited in your color selection. In terms of wheels, you have four options. You have the 19-inch wheel option, a 20-inch wheel option, and two 21-inch wheel options. I'd go for the 19 because of potholes. The 2025 Lucid Air features a skateboard platform that has the lithium-ion battery cells all along the floor for even weight distribution. On both axles, you have the dual motor locations. Along the front, you have a very ample storage capacity, and here you could see that this folding table will allow for additional storage. Here you could see the suspension components featured prominently along the front. Along the back, you have tons and tons of storage, and it opens from corner to corner. And you also have a folding table that allows for additional storage on the floor of the vehicle. The rear seat also folds down for additional storage, and you also have a door that opens at 90 degrees. The panoramic glass. Wow. In a car that looks like a 90s Buick, I normally don't have this much space. You know, I don't have this much space normally in cars. This is actually pretty good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm behind the wheel of the Lucid Air, and the traditional layout that you have with all the EVs is apparent here in this particular car. You have the Prindle setup with the column shifter that you would see in a Rivian, you'd see in a Tesla, and even a Mercedes. It's very traditional, except it's a little bit more refined. The one thing you'll notice immediately here is that the build quality is very apparent with some of these vehicles. And you could tell that everything is just built to a higher standard of excellence, and you could tell that the investors from all over the world, you have investors from China, Saudi Arabia, as well as some American investors through BlackRock Corporation that have put money into this car. And the quality is a cut above Tesla, Mercedes, and dare I say Porsche. I know that's sacrilege to some of my audience, but you know, I have to say what I feel and what I see. This car is definitely living up to the hype that I've been able to read about in many of the automotive publications. Everything is standard fare in terms of the appearance of everything. There are some analog features in case you need to adjust your seat, but it's also optional on the screen. You also have some analog features across the top of the center console where you have your fan speed, your temperature speed, as well as your temperature readings. Everything is at a touch point, so that's a really good thing. Now we're going to go for the drive, and immediately it picks up. There is a nice whine that you could hear that you take when you get on the Long Island Railroad. You could hear that electric whine. Visibility is excellent. That's definitely apparent. You could even see I'm parked right over here. Definitely a compliant suspension, not many bumps. It's got the regenerative braking, so I just have to release the gas pedal and the car comes to a complete stop, which is a great safety feature to have when you get into one of these cars. Do I make this left?
Yeah, sure.
You have cameras right on your dashboard. And then I'll make this right over here, correct?
Yep, you got it.
The electric car space is definitely an interesting space to be in. Smooth power delivery. Better than I expected. And depending on how you plant your foot on the gas pedal, or the throttle, should I say, because it's no longer gas, you will come to a complete stop. And not once did I even apply the gas pedal, or did I apply the brake pedal. The gauges are very clear throughout. Visibility is great. There's something special about these new cars. Like, this definitely has a character that you don't necessarily feel with Tesla. Like, Teslas feel like they've been put together really quickly for the sake of gaining a profit. This feels immediately like this was created and crafted by people who care about cars. And you could see it throughout. The level of stitching are the same people that created the leather interiors for Aston Martin or Bentley. Lucid actually supplies powertrains to Aston Martin. Their lithium-ion powertrain technology is given to the Aston Martin racing team. So if you're a fan of Formula One and you're a fan of Fernando Alonso or Lance Stroll, you could be driving Aston Martin technology. Speaking of Aston Martin, the dealership's right there. You could be driving that level of technology in your Lucid Air, ranging anywhere from 430 horsepower all the way up to 1200 horsepower. The car that I'm driving today is smack in the middle at around 600 horsepower. And let me tell you, this is more than enough power. Me living in New York City, I don't need that much more power. I do about a 40-mile commute daily into Staten Island for work. And I'm good with 400 horsepower. But this 600 horsepower equivalent on this EV is definitely exciting. So I'm going to continue this test drive, and I'll give my final thoughts later. And thank you for coming along in this test drive. So far, so good. All right, guys. So sprint mode in a Lucid is absolutely insane. You're driving like you're Usain Bolt. Acceleration in the Lucid is bananas. It's really that good. It's pretty insane. And it doesn't feel like it's falling apart when you're driving, which, you know, when you're going into those insane speeds, you want the car to feel like it's put together and bolted together really well. I do appreciate what Lucid is doing with regard to the EV space. They're giving competition to Tesla because, you know what? The more EVs we have in the electric space, the better the products will be in about 10 years, where there's not going to be a lack of quality. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe. I'll talk to you later. And of course, there's going to be more EVs on this channel. And of course, more enthusiast cars, because that's where I started and that's where I'm never going to leave. But I just saw a really cool blue G-Wagon.